Hello everyone, Imtiaz here from JobReadyProgrammer.com. I want to give you 5 hacks today. Hacks that will help you improve your life and make you into a better version of yourself. These are things that I've learned over the years through career, through mentorship, through reading books, through a ton of research and experimentation on myself. I've failed a lot, I've been successful a lot, I've tried a lot of things, and you're hearing from someone that has been relatively successful in their career. I'm a multimillionaire. I started a business a couple of years ago that was very successful. I started off as a software engineer in tech, developing software on Wall Street, but my background was not in computer science. I was actually an accounting major. So I've learned a lot through these transitions and struggles that I've had to make in my life in relatively short period of time. I'm not that old, but I am pretty successful financially. So I want to share some of this information with you. And these are 5 hacks that have changed my life, really, and I use them pretty much every day. We'll start with the first one, which is reflex retraining. As we grow older and older, we tend to behave a certain way, and that is really a product of our past experiences, the product of people that we hang out with, our immediate social network that we are in. There's a saying, I think it says that the amount of money that you make is probably the average of the 5 people that you hang out with most. So I agree to that. And people, things, experiences, past experiences influence us in certain ways, and so that makes us think in a certain way. And so to break away from that, if you're not in the right mindset, what you're going to need to do is reflex retraining. This reflex is actually a default way of thinking. Let's say you get angry really quickly, or you give up very, very quickly, or you lose hope very quickly. That's a reflex that needs to be retrained. And so how do you do this? Well, you do it through affirmations. So this is the first hack, affirmations to change the way you think, your default reflex thinking. And many celebrities, successful entrepreneurs, leaders of the world have actually touted this as well. This is not new information, but I'm going to give you my perspective is, for example, I wasn't very confident when I first started in software development. I didn't have a computer science degree, so I was competing with other students or candidates for job interviews that had computer science degrees, and I didn't. So I had to not only put in the hard work, which I did, but also had to change the way I think and actually make myself believe that I can excel at this and pass this interview and beat my competition to get the job or to get new business or whatever it is that I was doing at any given moment in time. I had to change the way I think. Now, by the way, these affirmations are basically phrases, sentences that you repeat to yourself over and over and over again, or you write them down on a piece of paper over and over and over again. You're basically reprogramming your mind, and that takes a lot of work. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It takes time. So if you do it for a week or two and it's not working, don't give up. You have to stick to it, and you keep believing that it will make a difference. And trust me, it does make a difference. It's kind of like making a new path in a jungle. If you walk in an area in a jungle that you've never been to before, chances are there's no hiking trail there. So, there's going to be weeds everywhere. There's going to be branches and maybe even a tree trunk that's dropped down on the path. And to make a path for the first time, it's going to be difficult. But you do it over and over and over again. Eventually, if you travel down that path 1,000 times or 2,000 times, it's going to become a trail. And that's a default way of thinking in your brain. So it takes time and effort. You just have to believe in it. And trust me, this actually works. This is a great strategy. So that's the first one. The second one is positive consumption. So what is this? Well, we're consuming information from our environment all the time. We learn through osmosis, just by being. And so certain bad habits we pick up, certain way of thinking that we pick up. So what happens is our mind is a garden. And so weed or plants that are detrimental to your garden grow without watering, without any kind of effort. They just grow. The weed grows in our mind. But to plant flowers, it takes effort. It takes hard work.
This is a cassette player with a little cassette in here, and there's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Do you ever imagine things? Things you'd like to have? Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark? and wonder what they were. Did you ever pretend about things like that? Did you ever pretend about things like that? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? In the garden of your mind. You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. In the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.
Number 3 is planned and organized execution. What does this mean? Well, before you sleep at night, you write down what you're going to get done tomorrow. But you organize those tasks that you need to get done in the order of priority. So the most important tasks should be your first go-to tasks in the morning. And if you organize it that way, you have a higher chance of completing those more important tasks because you hopefully promise yourself that I'll do this first thing in the morning. And even if it's not the first thing in the morning, at least you wrote down that it is a high priority task, and that's going to be triggered in your memory over and over again that next morning, and eventually you'll get to it. But the idea is don't wake up every morning without knowing what you're going to do. You have to already have a plan the night before. So this planned and organized execution is critical. And the core of it has to do with task prioritization. Most important tasks should be the first thing that you should be doing when you wake up in the morning. Now, the fourth strategy or hack, or however you want to refer to this, is impediment reduction. What's an impediment? Something that comes in the way of you achieving something. Oftentimes, it's hard enough to do something, to start something new, or to, like, for example, to get to the gym, or to start a task that you've been dreading. It's hard enough to do that task. But when you actually sit down and you're about to do it, you shouldn't be experiencing further impediments. And I'm telling you, your brain will make these impediments even if they are not there. For example, let's say you want to learn to program and you have a perfectly working laptop and you might just think, my desktop is so dirty, this hard drive is almost full, let me get a new machine so that I can learn to program. Whereas this computer would have been perfectly fine, but you ordered it on Amazon and it took another 3-4 days for you to get started. That's an impediment. You created that impediment for yourself. Whereas just getting to the task immediately, or for example, you need to get to work, but you come to your workspace and you're like, this is pretty messy. Let me just clean this up and I'll clean it up today and I'll get to it tomorrow. All right. And so you spend today cleaning up the environment, and then tomorrow you forget that you had made the promise for you to get started on this task, and months go by, years go by, and you never get to it. Trust me, this impediment reduction is important. And a way to get to this is you have to obviously plan that you're going to get started on a given task, but you have to set yourself up to win. Set your environment up beforehand. If you're going to get started on something tomorrow, prepare for it today. Make sure your workspace is clear. Make sure your laptop is working. It has enough space, and you have all the required software to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And impediment reduction is, for example, if you want to go to the gym, make sure that you have your gym clothes ready, or your shoes are ready. If you don't have running shoes, you probably want to get them beforehand. But even then, that's an impediment because, you don't really need running shoes to go out for a walk if you want to exercise. It's preferred that you wear running shoes because it's probably healthier for your joints and stuff. But it's not going to do you much harm for not doing that today. Just go ahead and get that walk in, right? But many people think, I need the perfect gear. I don't have the required music downloaded on my phone. My headphones are not ready. I don't have the right shoes. There's so many excuses that your mind can make up to get in the way of you getting work done, especially if it's something that you don't want to do to begin with. There's going to be impediments that your brain creates. That's the key is impediment reduction. Make it easier for yourself to get something done. If you really do need those shoes, get those shoes beforehand. Get that iPad or whatever that you need, and get your music on your phone the night before. And be prepared for this. Again, this is related somewhat to plan and organization execution. If I didn't have my battery charged, I wouldn't be able to record this video today. So I had to do some level of preparation the night before because I planned on making this video today. So my battery's ready, my mic is hooked up. Everything is set up for me to win. Impediment reduction is all about setting yourself up to win so that when you're ready, all you have to do is just press the button and you're ready to rock and roll. My environment is all set up. I have a light here. I've got a whiteboard there in case it's needed. My background is not messy. Everything here is set before I actually make the effort to come to this office and make this video, okay? Set yourself up to win. That's a huge thing for impediment reduction. Now, the fifth strategy or hack, I like to refer to them as hacks because that just sounds easier. Again, I'm reprogramming my mind to think a certain way. I like to think of things as easy. I can do anything. And so let's refer to them as hacks, even though these are really strategies, but hack just sounds easier. So the fifth one is parallel progression of something different. So at your job, you're working and you're progressing, hopefully. But let's say you're not. If you have another thing going on, that takes away from the stress of work. Let's say that you have your 9-to-5 job, you do that, and then you come home and watch Netflix, and you have nothing else progressing in life. And one day you just run into a major problem at work, and that progress stops. You're going to get depressed. You need multiple facets of your life progressing, and there's a balance that's required. You need to be progressing in your family life. You need to be progressing in your career, as well as maybe something else. That's something completely different than work. Let's say you like music, so you're taking music classes, or you're learning to play the piano, or learning to sing, or you're taking karate or judo or some kind of extracurricular activity, or speech classes, or you're taking acting classes like I did. I also like to sing. I have a variety of tasks that I do that I am constantly trying to progress in, and that takes away from the stress of work. It actually helps me perform better at work, because if one day if I'm running into a plateau at work, the other thing is still progressing. So I still have a positive attitude the next day I come with a fresh mind and I can execute the work. Burnout happens when all you're doing is that given task, that job, and you run into a problem or some kind of a plateau and you're just not progressing. Progress stops. That's how burnout happens. And so you have to continue to progress in multiple facets of your life. Pick a couple of things that you like to do and try to improve in all of those areas. So these were the 5 things. Hopefully this was helpful. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Make sure to leave some comments here. Let me know if you're employing some of these strategies, or if you have other strategies or hacks that you use to improve your life. And with that being said, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Hey, it's me again. Just want to remind you to make sure to check out jobreadyprogrammer.com, where we have an entire curriculum that breaks down exactly what you need to learn. We have top best-selling courses that have won awards, that have helped thousands of students get placed in jobs, in software development jobs. Check out the curriculum at jobreadyprogrammer.com. I'm going to leave a coupon code in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.